Hi, I'm Shauna, this is Shauna's World. Welcome back to my channel where I make videos about living intentionally. If that sounds like something you might be interested in, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Shauna's World. So I'm currently in the town of Saint Gervais in the French Alps. But the main purpose of my trip is to spend time in Chamonix, which is really France's trail running capital in the summer. The whole area is big on skiing in the winter, but in the summer it's all about the trail running. Now, UTMB race, arguably the biggest race in ultra running, starts this week. There's a whole week of different races. The main UTMB race, which is 100 miles and goes round Mont Blanc, that doesn't start till the following weekend. So it's Sunday as I'm filming this. And I'm going to be gone by then, but there are other races that are part of it. So that was the main reason I came, but I had this holiday booked off from work a while ago, and I was going to hike the Two Moors Way in Devon across Dartmoor and Exmoor. And as it came closer to the time, I just was feeling really discombobulated about it all. And it's a trail I really wanted to do since moving to Devon, but just at this time it didn't feel right. And I was toying with what else I could do instead, and then suddenly realised it was UTMB week on my week off. So I guess 2 or 3 days before coming out, I booked to come to the Alps and spend time here. So I travelled here by train over a couple of days. I was pretty exhausted, but I've just been settling into my Airbnb. I'm going to be spending time running, walking, generally just seeing what the Alps have to offer me. I'm getting ready to go for my first run of the holiday. Obviously, I ran the Lakeland 50 not very long ago, and I'm still in a recovery block, so this isn't going to be what I would be kind of making the most of this location if it was a different time, but I am squeezing in as much as I can around my recovery schedule. I'm taking poles, and I've got my full pack, I've taken some gels, and I'm literally only planning to run for about 5k. There's quite a lot of elevation, and I just wanted to be prepared because I'm really not used to the mountains. So I might look on the trails like all the gear, no idea, and you might be right. So I've started the route. It's pretty much uphill the whole first half. So I'm just gonna try and get a fast hike on, and then the second half I'll be able to run down the hill. The route starts in a kind of activity park, and there's people on zip wires everywhere and climbing. This is a literal 5k, and I'm having to pause 2k in because I've been going uphill for too long. It's a sorry state of affairs. Okay, I think I'm at the top of the climb. I'm having a little pause. It's kind of what feels like it's a viewpoint, but there's trees everywhere, so you can't see a view. It's been a tough climb, but good. Well, that was an epic run, and I was beating myself up a bit at how slow I was going, but when I looked at my stats afterwards, my Coros told me that I was exhausted and needed 100 hours of recovery or something. And seeing the elevation on Strava and stuff, I didn't feel so bad, and I really enjoyed the descent on that. Okay, I'm just heading into town, into the kind of main part of the village to get some dinner. I walked past a creperie yesterday that looked really nice, and they do savoury kind of galettes, so I'm going to see if I can get a spot there. Monday morning, it's 5:30 a.m. and I'm heading for the first time of the trip into Chamonix today. Chamonix, where it's all happening, UTMB. So there's different races running throughout the week as part of the event. And today kicks off the what's it called? Le Petit Trot, which is a 300-kilometer race. Absolutely bonkers. So they're setting off at 8 a.m. from Chamonix, so I wanted to get down to the start line. So it's 5:30 a.m. now. I'm catching a 6:28 train. It's the first train from Saint Gervais. So early start, especially as I'm so exhausted.
Take a train ride just to see you. Ride for hours just to please you. You don't know how much I need you. 'Cause you're my home.
I just arrived in Chamonix. First impressions, love it. There's a mist over the mountains, really good vibes, everyone kind of getting ready for the run. Every time I see someone in running gear, I'm like, you're about to run 300 kilometers. That is bonkers. So I'm just heading to the start line. I felt a bit emotional seeing that iconic arch in person, where I've seen some of my heroes make history crossing that finish line. And it was wonderful to soak up the atmosphere of the morning, surrounded by runners. But first things first, I had to get a pastry and a little coffee. Bonjour, je voudrais un café long et pain au raisin, s'il vous plaît. Then I set up camp at a spot at the start line with a pretty decent view to watch the PTL runners start their race. It would take them several days to complete. Can't even imagine what they're feeling right now. 300 kilometers ahead of them, and it's going to be through some of the most beautiful scenery. It's definitely making me want to do a UTMB race. This is the only one I will get to the start line for, because the others are kind of after I leave or in other locations. But it's given me a taste for this race. I really want to do the CCC one day, which is the 100-kilometer. So now that that's underway, my plan for today was to do a massive hike from Chamonix, but I've really not slept much in the last few days, and I'm going to do a shorter hike. And first, more coffee. I'm going to go to a place called Moody's, which I've seen recommended a lot here. It's supposed to be the best coffee in Chamonix. Everything I found out about what I'm doing here, practically, is from the Run the Alps website. They have a fantastic website as a resource for running in the area, but also just for enjoying Chamonix. And they highly recommend this coffee place. Okay, I gave up on that coffee because the queue was really long and it was moving really slowly, and by the time I left and turned around, there's probably like 30 people in the queue. So I imagine it's very good coffee, but I'm really hungry, so I'm actually gonna go somewhere else and have like a sit-down breakfast, and then I'll try that coffee another time. The place I found was called Arcus Coffee and was cozy alpine brunch vibes. There was a great selection of food and drink and a wonderfully relaxed atmosphere for a slow morning. So I've really just been drinking coffee after coffee. I'm really tired. I'm deciding whether I am going to do my hike today or if I'm just going to hang out in Chamonix. There's a finish for the MCC later. I'm not sure what time that'll come in, and I'd like to be there for that. But I also want to make the most of the days I'm in Chamonix, so I do want to do the hike, but I also want to have some chill out time. So just figuring it all out. Okay, I found a bit of a solution, because my original plan for today had been to do a 21-kilometer hike with quite a lot of elevation, and then I was so tired, I'm just so short on sleep, that I decided I was going to just do this 7k hike instead. But it still had 1,500 meters of elevation in that short space of time, which just felt too much. And yeah, I was contemplating just staying in town all day, and then I thought I'll do an easier hike, so it's about 7 and a bit kilometers still, but it's only 400 meters of ascent. So this hike route I'm doing today starts from right in the middle of town by the Place du Triangle de l'Amitié, which is where the big UTMB arch is and where lots of the races start or finish. I'm heading through town and then I guess I'll get off onto some trails at some point. Okay, I'm out of town and on the trails. It's still pretty busy around here, but it's getting quieter, and I'm walking alongside a rushing whitewater river. I'm going to be pushed for time to get back to central Chamonix before the MCC finishes, and I'd really like to see the winners come across the finish line, but all I can do is go as fast as I can. Okay, got some real traily trails now. And it's quiet, there's no one here. Nice to get out of the main drag. Well, that was nice, and I'm back in town, plenty of time to see the MCC finish. So I'm gonna probably get a coffee and set up near the finish line.
The MCC is one of the shorter races at the event, around marathon distance, and is predominantly run by UTMB volunteers. I got to see the leaders cross the finish line, including Kevin Vermeulen, who won the men's race, and Iris Pessy, who was the winner of the women's race. Both of them are French athletes, though the UTMB races draw in people from all over the world. I stopped for some food, a poke bowl from Yomidori where the abundance of fresh vegetables was much appreciated, and then finally got the Moody's coffee I'd been hankering after. So worth the hype. Then I headed back to my Airbnb.
I am very, very tired. It's only about 9 o'clock, I'm going to bed, and I've had a wonderful first day exploring Chamonix. Well, it's Tuesday now, I had a really good sleep, and I'm heading out to a boulangerie to get some lunchy bits. I'm gonna have a quiet day today and not do too much, just a run, chill out at the apartment, and then do more active stuff tomorrow. Je vais au boulangerie et j'ai un sandwich végétarien et une tartelette fraise. I might have got my tenses very wrong on. I did get my tenses very wrong on that. It's been 20 years since I learned French. I'm getting into the swing of speaking it a little bit more with people, but I just get really embarrassed. So I'm outside on the balcony, which is great. I'm gonna have my lunch and my tarte fraise, have a coffee, get some work done, and go for a run. A nice, relaxing day. I've spent a good few hours editing. I'm trying to get a video finished, which probably feels a bit of a silly thing to be doing on holiday when I've got all these mountains around me, but because I needed some rest and because I love editing and I don't always have time to do it when I'm at home and working, it seemed like a nice way to spend the day. And now I'm gonna head out for my run. I'm literally just sitting in the car park in my Airbnb because I'm really intimidated by doing hill reps in the mountains, and I'm just sitting here looking at the mountains, and it's very nice to look at but much harder to run up and down. Okay, I'm off. So today my plan, I have 10 minutes easy, 6 1-minute tempo hill reps, then 10 minutes easy, so it's quite a short session, good for a more restful day, although it's quite an intense session. And I was just putting it off because that hill, walking up it is awful. So running hill reps up it, I think is going to be really hard. are only 1 minute hill reps and they're meant to be 5 to 10k pace. But it's quite technical here and these are not 5 to 10k pace. I'm supposed to be jog recovering back down, but I'm very much walk recovering and then some. Okay, rep number 6, final rep. We can do this. I've taken much longer rests between reps than I should have because this is really hard. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now. Well, I finished my reps. Needless to say, I was exhausted. Then I have 10 minutes easy at the end, and I'm going to be walking to the top of this hill, and then I'll jog back to my Airbnb once I hit the road. That run was so hard and so intense, and I was still so slow because the hill was very steep. And then afterwards, I was just buzzing, feel great. I'm going to go out and get some dinner now. But even after a few days here, I'm really struggling with the level of heavy food. French do food very, very well, but it's very rich and heavy. I feel just totally over-cheesed. I'm struggling with it. This area in Saint Gervais is not great for vegetarians even, let alone things without cheese in them. But I'm gonna go look out for some form of Asian food because they are a lot better for dairy-free stuff. It does feel a bit sacrilege to be in France and not eating French food all the time. I really like to try and eat local, but my system just can't take it. I found the perfect place for dinner, which was a nice antidote to all the rich French food. Obviously, I stopped to look at the estate agent to see if I can buy a house in the Alps. Hello, it's Wednesday. I'm heading out into Chamonix for the day again. I've had a thankfully much later start than I did on Monday going in to watch the start of the race. But I'm going to be doing something very, very exciting today. It was wonderful taking the train into Chamonix in the daylight this time because I could see all the wonderful views and the mountains all around. So it was quite a scenic train ride. For this day in Chamonix, I headed to do something pretty special, something that had been on my radar for a really long time, and when I got there I headed to the start point to make that happen. So I am here at Le Bains and I am about to go up there and paraglide off the end. I'm just waiting for my pilot at the moment. I'm going to do a tandem paraglide, never done it before. I've wanted to for so long. I've had 4 holidays I've booked to go paragliding on, and then it hasn't worked out because of the weather, so I'm so excited it's finally going to happen. As we took the cable car up, I became aware of just how big that mountain was and how far from the ground we were, and I was getting really nervous.
So, ready to fly, Shanna?
I'm ready to fly.
Yes.
I'm really nervous at the moment.
That's normal.
Yeah.
We're facing Mont Blanc, everything. So remember, we start with walking.
Walking.
And then run.
Okay. Yeah, do I need to start walking? Okay. What animals are there? I just had the time of my life up there and then came down. I was feeling really queasy and then landed and then was really sick. So I'm glad that we landed when we did, and I'm glad that I managed to not throw up when I was in the air. I did have a really good time, but my stomach just couldn't handle it. So I'm feeling much better post queasy paragliding, and I got some lunch. There's a really nice falafel wrap place called Ella that I went to. Queues were massive, but food was really good. Now I'm walking around the UTMB race village and all the brands kind of with their stores selling their stuff, and I don't really need anything, but while I'm here I'm having a look at what's on the market. I got ice cream. I've been really wanting to get ice cream for a couple of days, and I finally got round to it. Got pistachio and caramel. I've just found out that there are Here for the Women's Race t-shirts being sold in the main area.
Then I had a little browse of Chamonix's many outdoor shops and dinner at Chamonix's only vegan restaurant that was overlooking the home stretch of one of the races that was finishing. Good morning, it's Thursday and the last full day of my time in the Alps. I'm heading back via Geneva tomorrow. I'm going to do a big run hike hybrid today, but I'm being a little bit slow getting going. I'm going to go down to the boulangerie and get some breakfast because I've run out of food in the apartment. Would you believe I actually haven't had a croissant since I got to France, and it is the ultimate in French breakfast. It's outrageous. It really is. Run is about to happen. I've been distracting myself watching the UTMB live coverage. It's kind of all kicking off with the main races. OCC today, and then tomorrow is CCC and UTMB, the kind of the biggest races of the event. Not the longest actually, but the most kind of where the big names are. So I've been following along with that, and I was just trying not to get sucked in because I knew I had to go out for this run. So this is going to be my longest run since the Lakeland 50. I've been in a recovery block, and I've got 2 hours in my plan today. Okay, we are off. I'm actually not doing the route that I intended to do because it wasn't coming up on my watch, but I've got something else. Well, the views make it all worth it, I guess. I'm not having the best run. I'm having a bit of a pause at the moment. I mean, it's so beautiful, and being on the forest trails and then these views, it's magical. But I think how hard I'm finding it going up mountains. I mean, I know it's hard even for mountain runners, but I just feel like I have all these big goals with running, and then I just get really humbled by like a small run, and yeah, it's knocking me a little bit. That's okay. I know that doing it is how you get better, and yeah, it's just yeah, I'm struggling with it mentally quite a lot. Well, I'm back at my Airbnb, and it really wasn't the best run. It wasn't the worst run, but it was mainly hiking because the uphill was not really runnable, and then the downhill I was just kind of pelting through nettles and the path wasn't very clear. It was my last run of while I'm in the Alps, and I was really disappointed that it didn't feel that good, and I just wasn't in the best headspace. It's not the note I'd want to finish the holiday on. But I will have a little run in Geneva tomorrow. On my way back, I'm taking the train back to the UK via a night in Geneva, and I'll have a little run around the lake. Good morning. It's the last morning of my day in the Alps. I'm heading off in about 40 minutes. I'm just having my final coffee from the coffee machine, packing everything up, cleaning the Airbnb, and then I make the long journey back to the UK
via a night in Geneva. 4 months. It's taken me 4 months to edit this video, film an outro and upload it. But 4 months since that holiday, and it did kick off something for me. It was a really wonderful holiday in the Alps, and I guess the running didn't really go as smoothly as I'd have liked, but I think on reflection, I was a month after the Lakeland 50, I was still pretty knackered, and just getting out in the mountains and seeing the UTMB stuff was pretty awesome. But since then, I have decided I am going to get on board with some UTMB races, which is a long old process, which I'll explain in another video, and I'll tell you kind of my plans over the coming years with that. But it definitely sparked something in me for running that race. But I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully a bit sooner than 4 months away. Bye.